evening, the Information Minister Kojo Ponkuma said 3.6 million reusable face masks have been distributed to schools across the country.
We have delivered about 3.6 million pieces of reusable face masks to these persons who are in school. Take hand sanitizers. The units that have been delivered go across about 1.7 million of them. It's taken a number of weeks, an extensive exercise across the country, over 18,000 institutions across the country.
You said you were giving 3 each. Have they received them?
My understanding is that they have. If there are any challenges, we'll be happy to know so that we can deal with them.
And that was a news desk report. Well, President of the Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools, Alhaji Yakub Abubakari, joins me on the line for some perspective on this. Thanks for your time. From your checks, how many schools are yet to get PPEs?
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and I take the opportunity to also greet the listening public. From our check, we have so far had almost all the schools having their PPEs. And for some few who haven't gotten theirs yet, they have brought fresh supplies to the regional education offices. And heads of schools who have challenges have been asked to contact the regional directors of education to pick whatever difference that resulted from the first supplies that was made. And fortunately, I came to the regional director of education for Ashanti region this morning, and she has showed me the consignment that are in the regional office, waiting for heads of schools to come and receive if indeed they have shortages with the first supplies that was made to them. So as far as we are concerned, therefore, virtually all schools have been supplied with the PPEs.
Right. Now, we've heard about cases being recorded in some schools. How are school heads managing the new cases?
Now, we go by the COVID-19 protocols. Where we suspect, we inform the health facility that the school has been mapped to. The health facility will come and then test and take the students and then take them for treatment. That is how we are managing them for now. We are not keeping them in our schools.
Right. But there have been many calls for the schools to be shut down in the wake of the cases that are being recorded. Do you share such views?
Well, we think it reaches the level where schools are to be closed down. We shall be advised or directed by authorities to do that. But for now, looking at the cases that we are having at the school level, compared to the totality of the schools, we think it is still within manageable levels.
Very well. That's President of Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools, Alhaji Yakub Abubakari. Meanwhile, fresh cases of COVID-19 are being reported in senior high schools. Western Regional Director of Health, Dr. Jacob Mahama, confirmed the new cases in SHSs in the Western region.
It was early this week. Actually, it's not only Archbishop Porter Girls. They have only one case. There were actually 19 suspected cases, and then when we send the samples to the lab, only one turned out to be positive. The rest are all actually negative. And social distancing is okay in the school. Everything is going on well. But we have other schools. We have about 7 schools that have got confirmed cases. In the Axim is one of those schools of 14 suspected cases that we took Wednesday to Accra, and 8 of them were positive. 5 are still pending. And you have Shama has one suspected case, it was negative. St. John's Secondary School, 1 case positive. And Adiambra, 8 suspected cases, 2 turned out positive, 6 were negative. And then the Hunterman girls, 6 suspected and 2 positive. The rest, so these are the schools that we have in the region actually positive.
And we're also learning that Mauli, Bishop Herman, and 2 other schools in the Volta region have also recorded new cases. Fred Kwame Asari is on the ground. He joins us with more on this. What more do we know about these cases? Hello, Fred Kwame Asari. If you can hear me, what more do we know about these cases and the reports that we're hearing?
Yeah, 4 schools in the Volta, 4 senior high schools actually recorded COVID-19 cases. That is what we are learning. The schools are the Mauli Senior High School, Bishop Herman College, Dabala Senior High School, and the Mauko Girls. Morley, we are told, recorded 3 cases. Dabala also had 3 cases. Bishop Emam College in Pambi and then Malco Girls in Wu all had 2 and 1 cases, 1 case respectively. We tried speaking to authorities on the issue, but then they are tight with and then directed us to the Regional Health Directorate for us to seek further information there. When we spoke to the Regional Public Relations.
So that's correspondent in the Volta region, Fred Kwame Asare, giving us additional details because we're learning that Mauli, Bishop Herman, and 2 other senior high schools in the Volta region have also recorded new cases. Now, the NDC has outlined 10 reasons they believe are key indicators that the Akufo-Addo administration has lost the fight against COVID-19. According to the party, closure of some state institutions, the suspension of emergency service at Kolebu Teaching Hospital, the lack of isolation facilities, among others, show that government has no clue on how to contain the spread of the virus. The NDC is insisting government has been overwhelmed by the virus. At its 7th weekly press engagement, National Communications Officer of the party, Sami Jainfi, asked Ghanaians to hold government liable for the spike in COVID-19 cases.
And I shall outline 10 facts that accurately describe our COVID-19 situation and bear out this assertion. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, as we speak, Ghana has recorded over 24,000 positive cases with 139 deaths, while the insensitive and inept Akufo-Addo government looks on helplessly. Our astronomically high and ever-increasing positive case count is putting huge pressure on our already constrained public health system.
National Communications Officer of the NDC, Sami Jainfi, there. My colleague Kwesi Parker-Wilson is at that news conference. He joins us on the line. Parker, we also understand that the NDC is demanding an immediate closure of the secondary schools. We've heard government explain why schools will not be shut down. So why the insistence by the NDC for them to be closed?
Well, so Sami Jainfi says government explanation is only a ruse, and that the real motivation or intention for keeping students in schools is to get them register for the voters' ID and subsequently vote for the NPP in the coming election. And so the NPP, as Sami Jainfi is alleging, is prioritizing elections over the lives of the individuals. And so he's even asking parents to storm the schools and get the awards out of the school because after the registration exercise, the NPP will close down the school. So for him, the explanation is not justifiable.
Kwesi Parker-Wilson, many thanks for that update. Now, government has downplayed reports suggesting an adverse implication on health delivery in the country following the increasing number of COVID infections among health workers. At a news conference last week, health workers comprising doctors, nurses, among others, revealed almost 800 of their colleagues had been infected by the COVID-19. But speaking on Joy News' Beyond the Lockdown show, Information Minister Kojo Ponkrumah said the situation is not out of hand.
Even one infection is something that we don't want, because it's easy to say 300 health workers have been infected. It's something we don't want. But as a percentage of total health workers, compare that positivity rate to the entire population and see whether it is odd or it is not odd. Because you will realize, from the brief that I have, you will realize that if you have a 7% positivity rate in the general population and you have a 7% positivity rate among health workers, among lawyers, among doctors, among other people, it is not as though in particular health workers have gone out of hand. We have a challenge there, particularly with the availability of PPEs down. Why do we have a challenge with PPEs being distributed down? If you check the numbers of PPEs that have been produced and imported and sent to the various districts, there ought not to be a shortage there. But we continue to have reports of shortages in sometimes a particular medical facility. Sometimes you go to that health facility. Within the health facility, there are departments that have it, departments don't have it. What we've now had to do is to put in place what we call a logistics management committee at the lowest level, at the district level, which will now have representatives of the Ghana Medical Association, of GOSPA, of nurses and midwives so that they all see the numbers that have come to the district. So that if the lower level distribution at the district is what is not working, then it is not something that we escalate to say that government is not providing PPEs. But we do know that this stores is perhaps where it's holding up, or here is where they have clogs or challenges and are able to deal with it at that point in time.
Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah there. Still on COVID matters, the Ghana Health Service is asking Ghanaians to maintain healthy lifestyles such as eating locally produced foods, less oil, and exercising. The Health Promotion Division of the service plans to roll out a new program which will profile Ghanaians based on their health status and link them to the National Health Insurance Scheme in order to provide the needed help in time. It's one of the ways the service says it's using to reduce the number of persons dying from non-communicable diseases during this COVID-19 era. Head of our health desk, Fred Smith, has more.
In its latest reporting, the Ghana Health Service announced 6 new deaths, raising the country's COVID-19 death toll from 129 to 135. 3 males and 3 females died in the latest report, 2 each from northern and central regions, 1 each from Uti and western regions. Whilst one, a 44-year-old man from the northern region, had no comorbidities, the rest died of one form of underlying condition or the other: stroke, hypertension, kidney disease, and a new cause, postpartum infection, a disease which can develop after delivery of a baby, accounted for the latest deaths. Until now, postpartum infections and stroke had not been identified among the comorbidities afflicting COVID patients, raising concern about how non-communicable diseases are contributing to Ghana's COVID-19 deaths. Director of Health Promotion at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Da Costa Boaje, says the latest data adds to an already worrying statistics recorded since the outbreak of SARS-CoV-2.
Majority of the deaths that we have recorded in this country from comorbidities, underlying conditions. And most of these underlying conditions tend to be the non-communicable diseases, that's hypertension, diabetes, and the others. So we certainly have to step up education on these non-communicable diseases with emphasis on the diabetes and the hypertension, the cancers.
Though no new death was reported from the Ashanti region, it remains the region with the highest number of deaths, contributing nearly half of the country's COVID-19 deaths. Dr. Boaji says a high-powered medical team led by the Director General of the service is already in Kumasi to investigate the trend.
I think as there is a team trying to investigate what is actually happening in the Ashanti region. The Director General himself, Dr. Patrick Kumar Boaji, is there. The head of surveillance is also there, Dr. Seydou Bekwin.
He wants a new program dubbed the Wellness Clinic to be rolled out across the country to help deal with the increasing cases of non-communicable diseases.
We have started a program which is called the Wellness Clinics. It will provide a platform for every Ghanaian to at least check their health once a year. These data can actually be linked to the National Health Insurance data, and it will help us in reducing the non-communicable diseases, because the next epidemic, if we are not careful, will be the non-communicable diseases.
Fred Smith for Joy News.
And here in the studio, I'm Arba Kumson. Let's go on the phone lines and speak to my colleague, Ohiminteria, because the Health Minister, Kwekwajiman Menu, is in that region. He's been monitoring or assessing the extent of work on some facilities that are being constructed. Ohiming, what more can you report?
Thank you, Araba. Dr. Kwaku Ajiman Menu and his team first visited the Kwai Government Hospital, where the ongoing project to see 120-bed capacity being completed by November. And we are told by the contractors that indeed work is progressing steadily, and they hope that by November they will be able to meet the deadline. We just left the Fomena Government Hospital, which is also another 128-bed capacity, and from here we will visit this area. But we are told that discussions are ongoing to ensure some of these facilities are turned into either treatment or isolation centers so for COVID-19. So that has been the discussion for now, but we are yet to hear from the health minister as far as this idea or this plan is concerned.
All right, Ohim Interior with that update. This is your election headquarters. We start off with the NDC, and some of its party agents in the Ablekuma West constituency are demanding the withdrawal of a registration officer as they accuse him of giving out cards to persons whose eligibility they challenged. They say the applicants are not residents of the constituency, hence they follow the process to get the registration officer not to give them their cards, but he gave it out on the blind side.
How many were they? We can't actually not tell it because yesterday there were many. We tried to deny them. They were hiding in the check this morning. We don't know how they find themselves in. But only this morning when we came, the guy is filling the form for them without even the process hasn't even started. So when we found out, they said it's Arrow who brought them in. So after the guy have done it, we challenged the
registration officer.
Yes. So we challenged the guy. We need a reference form. So what we were told is we don't have one. So if that's it, let's seize the car. When we have one, we challenge it. So we will delve to the issue, what the issue is. Later on, we have the form. We feel we don't know how the RO find its way to give the cars to those who were registered. That he knows we have challenged it.
Let's get closer to the registration officer they are talking about. They are accusing of helping persons who are not residents here to register. Let's find out from him what he makes of these allegations. Sir, you're welcome to join us.
I can't make any comment until I get the information. Until I get the information.
You don't want to respond.
All these people, the card has
but they've made a lot of allegations against you.
The card has been given free. These are the form. We have challenged the form. These are the form.
Hello, sir. Look, they've made specific allegations that you brought in some people from Ufanko to register here because
this is Ablekuma West. It's a complaint of Ablekuma West. Look, it's a complaint of Ablekuma West. Look,
we're trying to get some response from the registration. We're trying to get some response from the registration officer, but he says that unfortunately he cannot respond to this allegations.
Meanwhile, voter registration at various centers in the Greater Accra region have been hitch-free as the Electoral Commission says it has 98% successfully fixed the challenge encountered during yesterday's exercise. Here is a registration officer at one of the centers in the Ablekuma South constituency, Amabaku.
Today it's going on smoothly. Everybody is where he or she is supposed to be and doing what he or she is supposed to be doing.
So tell me, we know about the queue management system. I want to find out how you are implementing that here and how effective is that?
Well, we are doing our best for the social distancing to be observed and the protocols. Everything should be put in place. But human as we are, there are flaws here and there.
So what will be your assessment of the social distancing that we are seeing here? Is it impressive? Are you impressed with what you see?
Well, with what we have at our disposal now, we are doing our best. We are doing our best, yeah.
Registration officer at one of the centers in the Ablekuma South constituency, Amabaku, speaking to my colleague Maxwell Agbagwa, and Maxwell joins us on the line. Maxwell, you've been visiting other registration centers. What did you find?
Well, I will be paying particular attention to the adherence to the social distancing protocol and the wearing of masks. I would say that today was an improvement of what was seen in the last 2 weeks. So for all the centers that we visited, I would say satisfactory in that many of the applicants who had come were all wearing their masks. It was just one or two people you find wearing it under their chin, but there are police officers there who are ensuring that even when they get access to the registration centers, they do not put it under their chins. The issue has to do with the social distancing protocol, and as you heard the registration officer in the Ablekuma West constituency who I spoke to, many of the applicants who had come, they don't have anywhere to sit, so they were just given some benches on which they were sitting. So really the distance that you would expect that would be between them wasn't really there, but they were all wearing their mask, Araba.
Very well. Many thanks, Maxwell, with that update. And speaking of the registration exercise, the Greater Accra region is leading with more challenge cases in the ongoing exercise. The Oti region has also recorded the highest percentage of registered voters in the ongoing exercise. If the trend in pace of registering voters continues, the Greater Accra region alone will constitute more than 20% of total registered voters in the country. The region currently constitutes some 20.9% of the country's voter population. Well, Deputy Chairperson of the Electoral Commission in charge of corporate affairs, Dr. Bosman Asari, gave the update at the third edition of the Let the Citizen Know series earlier today, and we will be bringing you more on that in our subsequent bulletins. Still on politics, concerns about the poor state of the Eastern Corridor Road and youth employment top the list of issues the constituents in Hohoe say will influence their votes on December 7 at the maiden edition of the Joy Ballot Box program held in Hohoe last Friday. According to them, their thumbs will do the talking if government fails to fix the terrible road.
For a while, the electorate seated could no longer bear the exchanges among the panelists over unfulfilled promises. Irritated by responses which did not reflect the realities on the ground, a number of them quickly took to the microphone stand to correct impressions on the state of the Eastern Corridor Road.
These our politicians, they take us we Ghanaians granted. When they see that when it is time for election, before we see them on the road with their machines, which is very bad. They think that without them, without we, there's no anything. This president, Nana Akufo-Addo, he came to power. When I used all the road in Ghana, he sacked all the people on the road. And I am a Ghanaian. I need to express myself.
I drove on this road yesterday at dawn and came back on this same road this afternoon. If he is sitting there and telling us that the road is done, I'm sorry.
He didn't say that. He says you can drive on it now. It's better than it was before.
Master, I beg you, let's be truthful to ourselves. For once.
There were many others represented who felt they had been taken for granted for far too long and sought to demand what they believe were their rights.
MFR Eli Atiamo's report there. This is your election headquarters, and this is the midday news. We're taking a short breather, but still ahead, we're bringing you Spotlight. And in Spotlight today, we celebrate music legend Atongo Zimba, who's promoting the Ghanaian culture through his music. We also have sports. You want to stay tuned.
You think your internet service is fast? Wait till you experience Vodafone's ultra-fast fiber broadband. That's right. Vodafone Fiber Broadband gives you 10 times the internet speed you already get. Open a whole new world of possibilities for the family as everyone gets to do so much more online at the same time on a wider bandwidth. Watch TV, take online courses, play video games, stream, download. The list is endless. Available in Accra, Tabelenke, Achimota, Adentan, East Legon, Adabraka, Adrinkano, Ashoman, Airport Residential, Cantonment, Wager, Abudome, Botre, Dansuman, Jolu, Hacho, and so many more communities. Visit fbb.vodafone.com.gh or any of our retail shops nationwide to check availability in your area and apply now.
The future is exciting. Ready? DSTV and the leaks are the big boys are back.
Is your heart racing yet? I know mine is.
Yeah, crowd near the live sports papa bro. Jinja Dow couch muna budget favorite stars here. Well, what we are sporting leaks are papa no so.
Sergio Aguero has conspired in the final. Cristiano Ronaldo! Something special for his hat-trick goal. Messi does it! A priceless goal from Lionel Messi! Drama from day one! This is the league we want to watch!
Central DSTV the two. Never start here. What's so far to money now? What be about compare? DSTV Live Sports see about compare.
You're welcome back to the midday news, time for sports. And as you know, Manchester City have successfully overturned their 2-year ban from European club competitions, which was issued by UEFA after ruling the English side had committed serious breaches of financial fair play regulations between 2012 and 2016. The ruling means that City are no longer banned from European competition. Hans Mensah Ando assesses the implication of today's ruling.
The obvious implication of the Court of Arbitration for Sports ruling is that Manchester City have qualified for next season's UEFA Champions League, given their 12-point gap between them and third-placed Chelsea. The push for the Premier League's final 2 Champions League slot has assumed extra importance with this ruling. Chelsea, Leicester and Manchester United will be locked in a fierce battle to qualify for Europe's Premier Club competition with just 3 matches remaining. Manchester City will, in all likelihood, keep star players Kevin De Bruyne and Raheem Sterling, who had hinted they would consider their future if today's decision had gone against the club. Manager Pep Guardiola is also certain to extend his contract beyond the 2021 expiration. The club can now also focus on pursuing transfer targets as they aim to reclaim the Premier League title and win their first UEFA Champions League title.
Hans Mensah Ando with that report. It's time for entertainment, and Becky is in the studio.
Hello to you, Raf. Today
Hi,
we're
Becky.
celebrating Atongo Zimba Heaven. There is no beer hitmaker. He is on Spotlight today.
Sharaba, Sharaba, Abira Kunala Shabaraba, Malangini.
Atongo Zimba is one of the biggest music exports out of Ghana. He was born on the savannas of northern Ghana in 1967. His grandfather taught him how to build and play the koliko or molo, a 2-string calabash lute, and the first songs he learned were rooted firmly in tradition, dealing with everyday life in the countryside of northern Ghana.
So it's like every house gifted with something different instrument. So my house was gifted with this instrument. So my grandfather used to little bit give me some rhythms when I go back to the forest. I can play some music while I'm relaxing, you know.
He gained fame as he was for a year and a half the opening act at the Shrine Show of Fela Kuti in Lagos, Nigeria.
I left my family. I went to first I went to Burkina Faso, and then through Burkina I went to Sankasi to Lagos. Yes, and I was
Nigeria.
Yes, I was basking in the street and playing in the market. So when I get to Nigeria, I was mostly playing around in the market, and then start to know Nigeria because
he returned to Ghana to play the Pan-African Festival of Arts and Culture, and he played and toured with great African musicians as Hugh Masakela, Manu Dubango, or Sibisa, among others. Tongo recorded his first album, Ala Mungore, in 1994 in Switzerland, and that same year he went on his first European tour, soon followed by a second tour that brought Tongo to Spain and Germany.
Heaven, there is no beer. That's one of my favorites.
I'm going to drink my beer.
All right, and that's how we end the midday news here on Joy997 FM. Our top story: more COVID-19 cases are being reported among final year students as some senior high schools are yet to take delivery of government-sponsored PPEs. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. I'm Arba Kumson.